Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted, with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Hi, Ryan Baylis. Welcome to Savvy Broadcasting, Life Unscripted. I'm so grateful to have you here today. How are you doing this wonderful Saturday afternoon?
Doing awesome. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're the founder of Drift, a wonderful fragrance product. And I thought it was really cool because I told you just prior to just pressing the go button that I used to use birchwood and such in my closet just to keep my clothes that were being, put away for the summer or winter nice and fresh. And it worked so well, but you amped it up a bit by soaking the wood in fragranced oils like lavender and such, and sandalwood, which is totally my favorite. Yep. But where did the idea come from? How did this come about for you?
Yeah, so I had just graduated college and I was kind of working my first full-time job. And I bought a used car, and it was like a nicer used car. And I went to like find an air freshener because it had that used car funk to it. Yeah. And so I went to find an air freshener for it, and I couldn't find anything that was like up to snuff for me. Up to sniff. We can get punny if we want to.
Yeah, sure.
And so I had this idea. I'm like, well, what if there was like a different type of air freshener? Like, what if we used wood or something, a different material, made it better? The only things out there were the vent clip-ons or, the notorious hanging trees. So had that idea. I didn't do anything with it for a while. And then I was hiking with one of my friends, and we were just kind of complaining about our desk jobs. And he's like, you got any good ideas? And I was like, I don't know. I think I might have a bad idea, but we can always, see if there's any grounds for it. I'm like, we could try and sell these things on the internet, which, in hindsight comes off as the world's worst elevator pitch. Like, okay, we're going to sell fragrances online. Like, so can I smell it first? No, so anyways, that was kind of where the idea spawned from.
Well, yeah, I love that. And that's actually what we decided to title the show, Turning Your Worst Elevator Pitch into Victory. Why do you think it came, just exploded from there? Because I would think either a perfume or some sort of fragrance, something that you can't really touch or smell, but is very much something that you'll want to, smell good. How did that just launch? Why do you think people are so attracted to it?
Yeah, I think I think that there wasn't anything out there that was kind of comparable. I think that there's a huge gap in the car market for something like this. I think notoriously, like I said, like just they're bad products and they don't smell good, right? Like that was the one thing we pushed really hard on, was like, we want quality fragrances. And so we worked really, really hard to make sure they're not only like really high quality, but they're also really clean. So, the other ones, I won't get too deep into it, but they use a lot of chemicals to make them last longer. And I mean, like formaldehyde and like stuff you don't want to lock yourself in your car with. And so from the beginning, we said, no phthalates, paraben free, all of the endocrine disruptors. We don't want any of that in our product. So we work super hard to keep them clean. But then I just think that, people wanted something different. And I still think it's at like a decent price that you're kind of like, I can test run it for $8, And I think the other thing we're really good at, and we've tried to pride ourselves on, is selling the fragrance like visually and through our copy. I think we do a really good job on conveying what it feels like or smells like. It's more of an experiential thing, I think, with our fragrances. So
yeah, I love that you say that, because Squatch, the soap, the commercials are my favorite besides the poopery one. They're very different than the normal commercial. In fact, they're way long, like 10 minutes long. And it's my husband and I say, those are the two commercials we actually want to sit down and watch like a show, because it's so well done. And so, we tried Squatch. It turned out like, whoa, this stuff is awesome. But what's interesting, it's just soap and it's just clean. It's probably what your grandma used.
Their pine tar soap is so good.
I love it.
It's like it's just so good, and I like the stuff inside of it too. Yeah, I love those brands. But they were really good at doing the same thing. They could convey the scent, through visuals and things. And that's the only way we have, because you can't scratch and sniff the Instagram ad, sadly.
Well, that's something to show for because we're mostly a business show here. And for any new business owners thinking to get started, well, what do you have to do? I think it's very important, like you were mentioning, to have really good copy and marketing to really get inside your customer's head and kind of what is important to them, and then trying to, all right, this is what we're offering, and really kind of decipher it for them.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we knew from the beginning was we tried to keep our naming structure like very succinct, so you would know what it smells like. There's so many. You can go make fun of all the cologne brands, and it's like guilty. It's like, what does guilty smell like? No, I don't know that I want to smell like that. So we always tried to keep the names not very vague, and just try to, if it smells like cedar, we call it mill. So you can kind of get a visual in your head of what that might smell like. So
yeah, absolutely. Now you don't just have that. You also, it was originally called something else, right?
yeah. Yeah. So we actually originally started as GentScents. So it was kind of a men's air care line. And that worked really well for us. I think there's something to be said about niches. But we did decide eventually that it didn't need to be gendered. We didn't need to have a gendered product. And so we actually rebranded it about 2 years ago and called it Drift. And then kind of killed off the GentScents brand. And we tried to keep it really androgynous. Men and women both love fragrance.
Yeah.
You don't have to, gender the scent. And what we found too is that a lot of you kind of, from like gender norms with scent, we saw that people were kind of going across the line a little bit. Like I actually really like floral scents. And my wife would steal my teak, so it's like traditionally what you would think would be kind of the male or female, masculine, feminine scent. It's not necessarily how people kind of like their fragrance anyways. And so that was kind of a big play for us, was kind of switching it to be a little more androgynous.
And did you find that there's particular scents that are really super popular? Like I'd heard something like vanilla is like the number 1 popular scent. Is that true?
Yeah, we always get begged for vanilla, and we do it every once in a while. We've always said it's in one of our like kind of our brand guidelines. We always joked like no vanilla, but what we really mean is like no just standard vanilla. Like if we're gonna do vanilla, we've done it in the past, and we'll do like a vanilla birch that's got like a very good woodsy scent to it, but it's still vanilla. But we never wanted to be just
straight vanilla,
just basic vanilla. It's always got to be French vanilla or something. Something gotta have a little twist to it. So,
well,
but it is true.
Yeah, I personally like trees and wood, so I like a evergreen smell. Birch is awesome, sandalwood. Also, tend to be known as more masculine kind of scents, but I just think they smell amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe
And that's again what we found.
Yeah.
We'd get messages from guys with GentScents that were like, "Hey, I need to buy another one. My girlfriend stole my teak," and it's like that happened so much that we're like, why are we sticking this to 50% of the market? And I think again, I think there is some validity to niches, but I also think that like, as starting out a business, like you don't need to hamstring yourself by not being able to advertise to half the market.
Yeah. So how did it work for you? You had this blast idea. From idea to coming to market and being able to launch this, how did that come about? How was it quick? Did you have to get a lot of investments? What did that look like?
Yeah, originally, no, we kind of bootstrapped it in the beginning. So my co-founder, Christian, he was literally making all the wood pieces by hand, and we were shipping them out of the garage. So that was really, really fun. Neither of us have a fragrance background. Like my background's in video production. He's a total Excel guy. He's awesome at that stuff. I'd stay out of the spreadsheets. And so we kind of had to like learn from scratch on the fragrance side, which I think we're really, really good at it now. But I think in the beginning, it was like, we have no idea what we're doing, just going sniffing candles, finding what we like and kind of figuring out from there. But yeah, it was just all Christian was making until we hit like, I don't know, 2,000 subscribers. Christian was making them all by hand. So they're still basically all handmade.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not doing it out of a little machine shop anymore and not shipping them out of our garages. So it changed a little bit, but yeah, it didn't actually take a ton to get it off the ground. I mean, it took a lot of like grit. There was definitely moments where we wanted to quit and those sort of things, but yeah, it wasn't super capital intensive, or we didn't have to buy a ton of inventory. We were shipping just in time, and we still do a lot of that. We still don't have to do giant inventory buys necessarily on some things we do, but yeah.
Would you tell anyone getting started to do it like you, or to get capital? What do you think? Do you think you did it the best way coming out of the box?
Yeah, no, I think we did it right. I think we eventually took on capital and took on some investment just to help with marketing. Marketing is still our biggest expense. And so, that definitely helped. I think we wouldn't have got as far as we did without that. That said, like if I was giving advice, like I don't know that I would give up equity quickly. I think that right now, especially, capital is fairly inexpensive to come about with even debt financing. And so if you actually have a good idea and you know that it's going to go, like, you don't necessarily have to give up that equity. I think that you can kind of give up some short-term percentages on your cash, and you can do it that way. So like if I was doing it again, I'd maybe look into some of that stuff. But again, I don't know that we would have done that. I think it would have maybe spooked us, and we would have not done it. So I wouldn't go back and change anything necessarily. But if I was starting up something else, I'd look at some of those other options besides just giving up equity in the beginning.
Well, there's always creative ways to do this. I had a friend who wanted to start a company that was product based, and she didn't want to be owing big banks and big investors. So she went to close friends and family and said, if you loan me the money, I will give you interest by, 5-10%. And I promise to pay you on XYZ day. And if need be, take 3 or 4 jobs to make it happen. They knew she was good for it. In less than 5 years, she paid all of her investors, AKA family and friends, back. And now she's been 10 years in business and multi-million dollars. So it can you can find more creative ways than going to strangers sometimes.
Totally.
So that's really cool. But you have something new coming on the line too. You have candles. Do you have any other products coming up in the near future?
Yeah, so we're adding a bunch of home products. We're still working on kind of our core line with the car. We're trying to improve it. We just launched, it's called Stone. It's actually a new product. Looks just like the wood, but it's made out of a stone type material. And we're always working to see if we can get something that lasts a little bit longer. It's always the hardest part in fragrance, which is just like, and you're dealing with this fine balance of like, is it too strong that it's just punching in the face when you get in the car, and does it fade too fast? So Stone does a much better job of kind of flattening that line of how fast it fades. And then we're also launching a bunch of home products. So our customers have been begging us to take their favorite scents and bring them into the home. So we've actually got reed diffusers, which like we're going to launch in a couple of weeks here, and then candles as well. So
I love candles.
Yeah, so we're taking a lot of our like core scents and bringing them into the house. So, and then we've got a bunch of other secret stuff that I won't bring up yet. But there's a lot of projects in the works for Drip. So we're excited. Just definitely huge stuff on the horizon.
Yes. And what I'm loving here, and this is such a good thing, what I'm seeing more and more companies do. I just came this morning from a wellness company that does massages and facials. They've switched to a subscriber-based monthly thing. So you add points. So every month you put in, $59, $60 into the pot, and it adds to our points that you could use for anything from facials to a massage to stretching, whatever it is. And that way they get the constant money in. But people get to do the massage every couple months they want to do, or whatever it is. And so you do subscription based, which I totally love the idea of subscription based. How does it work with Drift?
Yeah, so we're all subscription only. I mean, we have one-off products like the candles and reeds. You'll be able to buy them individually, but for our car product, it's subscription only. And part of that is like, it's a great product for that. From a business side, everybody wants the subscription revenue, right? It's reoccurring. It's constantly coming in. You basically just have to work on your churn, making sure that you're keeping the customers happy. But it also works for consumable products. Like for us, that scent is going to fade. Like we know that it has a shelf life. And so I think it's a really cool concept, and we've done really, really well with that. I think it's the reason why we've survived as long as we have, is just having that subscription model. And I think most businesses can figure out a way to do it. I feel like that's a great example. The wellness side, people, they want to continually do it. And I like the points idea. That's kind of fun. Then you get to then you don't have to do just one thing, right? It's like not like a massage subscription. It's like, hey, this month I'm go get a mani-pedi, but next month I want a facial. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, me too. And I just came across it walking in the mall going, hey, what's that? But yeah. But it's great because a lot of people will be like, oh, you can't afford it. So you don't lose the point. It carries over, and then you still get to get that massage. Great idea. Now, I see you have not only Drift and wood, but you also have metal fresheners. Is some people like more than the other? I kind of love the wood idea.
Yeah, I think there's some people, the metal one is on the vent. So it's, like your Glade or Febreze ones. So, it snaps on there and then uses your car's ventilation system to kind of distribute the scent. It's totally up to the customer on what they want to do. Again, we still use the same sort of clean ingredient oils. So you're still getting our great scents, but just another way to deliver it. And it's kind of up to you on how you want the scent to be distributed in your vehicle or in your house too. So that's kind of our goal, is to give you your option of what you want.
That's great. And so tell me, if you put the Drift in for a month and you have the monthly subscription, does it kind of last the month? Is it the scent?
Yeah. Obviously,
Awesome.
if you live somewhere that's like super hot, it changes it a little bit.
Got
But
it.
yeah, like our biggest states, like we do really well in Texas and Texas, California, kind of full, and just all the big metro areas, except for New York. Not a lot of car owners there.
Yeah, that's
sadly.
true. You got to put it on the subway. It really needs it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, for real. For real.
You need to talk to the MTA.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, we got a small contingent in New York, but yeah, for the most part, we're just kind of in your car-based metro areas. But yeah, it lasts about 30 days. So
that's great. Well, everyone get started. Go to drift.co, correct? drift.co.
Yep.
Awesome.
Go get your car smelling good.
That's right. And use it in your closet. Why not? Yeah.
That's one thing, is like when you're done with them, they I actually have them hooked down here. These are all in packaging, but I just like, you can put them wherever when you're done. So after it's out of the car, you can just, snap it on something metal, and just don't put it somewhere that oil is not necessarily a great thing on all things. So don't put it on your fridge, but you can put it other places.
Yeah. And the wood things, like I've had the wood blocks before, and I put them in my drawer. It keeps it smelling good, and it's supposed to keep away moth, I think, or something. Is it?
Yeah, we use aromatic ceder, and cedar itself is like a it's not a pesticide, but it's kind of pest resistant. So moths don't like it. None of your clothy
critters, your little critters.
Like yeah, helps with that. So.
Well, I just have to thank you again, Ryan. This has been awesome having you here today to share on this. And everyone, go get your house and your car and everything smelling awesome. Go to drift.co today and get your subscription going. Thank you so much, Ryan, for coming to Savvy Broadcasting today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You betcha.
Like, subscribe, and share this episode. To listen to more savvy episodes and savvy biz tips, go to www.lifeunscriptedradio.com. To find out about our paid sponsorship opportunities or how to become a guest, email Christina at lifeunscriptedradio.com.